This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
First at 11, we start with your Storm Team 6 forecast. A live look outside shows it's quiet all across central Indiana right now. Thanks for joining us here at 11. I'm Nicole Griffin. Meteorologist Kyle Mounds joins us from his home studio. And Kyle, you say things could turn stormy for our Mother's Day.
Yeah, a little bit, Nicole. You know, we enjoyed a great deal of sunshine today, but tomorrow things do turn a little more active. You can see the big picture here. There's one little bullseye of some storm activity there across portions of Ohio and Indiana. That marginal risk, especially over the eastern two-thirds of the state, where we could have some gusty winds, possibly some hail, and a few of those storms. And you notice the rain chances on Sunday highest as we go into our Sunday afternoon. Right now, all is nice and quiet on the satellite and radar. Notice there are a few clouds off to the southwest. We'll just kind of increase the cloud cover for us this evening and into the overnight hours. Temperatures, they're sitting in the lower to middle 40s. I think they'll kind of level off as we go into tomorrow morning, starting off with cloudy skies, a spotty shower, but we'll take a closer look at when some of those stronger storms could move through in just a few minutes.
Kyle, thank you. Tonight, video posted on social media shows part of an arrest made this afternoon at a protest where Drayshawn Reed was killed by police earlier this week. The shooting was recorded on Facebook Live by Reed and has sparked days of protests. Tonight, police say a 41-year-old man has been arrested for obstruction of traffic and disorderly conduct. During the arrest, police say they were forced to use pepper ball deployment to deter a crowd as they closed in on officers, creating an unsafe environment for officers and protesters. No one was injured, but those we talked to say the pepper ball was uncalled for.
These are people who are grieving and who are just seeking to have helpful avenues to express their grief, and we're trying to give them a safe and secure way to do so.
RTV6 has requested the names of the officers involved in the pursuit and the shooting, as well as their personnel records. We are waiting for IMPD's response, and we'll bring you that information as soon as we have it. Tonight, Metro Police are investigating the death of a woman on the city's west side. Police say they were called to South Harris Avenue around 5:30 this morning. When they arrived, they found the woman with gunshot wounds. She was pronounced dead at an area hospital. Her identity has not been released, and at this hour, we are still waiting for police to release details surrounding a suspect. Police in Columbus are investigating after finding a woman shot to death. Officers say Cassandra Wilson was found dead in her apartment around 9 Friday night at the Spruce Ridge Apartments. The apartments are near State Road 46 and Goller Boulevard. Tonight, police in Columbus say Wilson's ex-husband, Troy Wilson, was found dead here in Indianapolis. He was a person of interest in her death. At this hour, police continue to investigate a deadly crash on the city's north side. This van you see here on your screen slammed into a home on North Ralston Avenue near Hillside Avenue around 9:30 tonight. Investigators say they found a man dead inside of the van. They are now trying to figure out if the crash killed the man or something else. The impact of the crash caused the home to catch on fire. Nobody was home when the crash happened. New at 11, it's unclear when two downtown restaurants will be able to reopen again after this crash. It happened around 7:30 tonight near West Washington Street and Senate Avenue. Police say the driver backed across 4 lanes of traffic and slammed into the building housing a Subway and a pizza shop. Now to the very latest on the coronavirus and how it's impacting Hoosier families. Tonight, the state health department confirms 34 new COVID-19 deaths. Meanwhile, state officials say there are 645 new COVID-19 cases in Indiana. Case information is reported and is based on when the data is received by state health officials and can span over multiple days. Tonight, state health officials are also preparing to open 4 more drive-through testing sites. The sites will be in Bluffton, Gary, Madison, and Sullivan. Tests will be given from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. The clinics will open from Thursday, May 14th through Sunday, May 17th. This weekend, Governor Eric Holcomb's roadmap to reopen Indiana is taking some big steps forward in most parts of the state. As of today, places of worship in most counties can resume in-person services under certain conditions. Pastor Matthew Ball at Faith Apostolic Church in Carmel is getting ready to welcome parishioners back to the pews. Some of the precautions include only allowing the building to fill up to 50% capacity. Everyone will be encouraged to wear masks and use hand sanitizer. And members say for some people, getting back to the church, even though it will be different, is important.
The church has to step up because people need that. We have hope. There are people who are stressed out and they're fearful and they're anxious, and the church can minister to that.
For those who may be at risk or just don't feel comfortable leaving their homes yet, services will still be live streamed. Church restrictions are still in place in Marion County through at least next Friday. There was also no timeline yet in Marion County on when restaurants or other non-essential businesses can reopen. A spokesman for Mayor Hogsett's office says they expect to announce a timeline in partnership with the Marion County Public Health Department next week. The county's stay-at-home order runs through at least Friday, May 15th. Lake, Cass, and Monroe counties have extended their orders through this week as well. Governor Eric Holcomb started easing restrictions in other parts of the state earlier this week. A Fisher's apartment complex chain is giving back by working together to reward tenants with gift cards to local businesses. Troy Washington is working for you to explain how the initiative will help those local businesses rebound from the pandemic.
There's a saying, it takes a village, and Regency Windsor Management is living up to those words and passing out hope beyond the pandemic.
We're all entrenched in Fishers and in the Southport Emerson area. We're a part of this community, and we want to be able to give back and support those local businesses.
The plan is to help those businesses rebound that had to close their doors due to restrictions by giving tenants gift cards to dine. It's the company's way of pouring back into the communities they are a part of.
We came up with the initiative. Actually, the owners came up with the idea and let us just run with it. We have 4 communities in the Indianapolis area: Sun Bluff, Sun Lake, the Woods of Britain, and the Lakes of Windsor. We were each given the task to pick local, small, family-owned businesses, restaurants that we have some type of contact with.
Sue Anthony is the regional vice president of Regency Windsor. Through their Heart Initiative, each property is rewarding 100 tenants with gift cards to local restaurants in their neighborhood.
El Mason, whiskey business, the Wolfie's chain, which is a local family restaurant, Psalms, Chatham Tap, which is right across the street from Sunblessed, which is one of our locations.
The goal is to not only reward tenants for paying on time during the pandemic, but to also pour into those restaurants surrounding the properties who desperately need the help right now.
3 of our communities are in Fishers. We're in different areas of Fishers, so our residents frequent different places.
And Anthony thinks that by working together and being in this together is the only way to make sure local businesses come back stronger than before. Working for you in Fishers, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Troy, thank you. And throughout the pandemic, RTV6 is putting the focus on how communities are working together. A metal company with 2 locations in Indianapolis is answering a call to help a local hospital. Metal Supermarkets designed and constructed a booth to be used for rapid testing of people who may have the coronavirus. Typically, they supply 8,000 different metal types for a variety of different projects. But weeks ago, they were asked by the CEO of Hancock Regional Hospital to make a booth to help with COVID-19 testing.
There are 2 ports in the front that they're able to put their arms into. On the outside of the boxes where the patient will walk up, they swab the nose from a small little cart outside of the booth, put it into its container, and then set it aside, and they can rapidly test people without eliminating or without using PPE and having direct contact with someone who may or may not be infected.
The owner of the Indianapolis Metal Supermarkets location says they are willing to make more of these booths for other locations doing COVID-19 tests or antibody tests down the road. Coming up, helping families escaping violence during the pandemic. Tonight, why a local organization needs your help to be able to assist Hoosiers needing a safe place to live. Kyle.
Temperatures feeling a little bit better out there tonight, but already signs of another cool down coming our way when we'll finally get highs back in the 70s. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Or was we even there?
This new initiative to help you navigate life during and after the coronavirus pandemic. Tonight, you may be wondering if more help is on the way from Congress. There are 3 likely scenarios that could potentially help Hoosiers make ends meet and assist with job security. Big idea number 1, bailout for city and state governments. How would this help you? Well, cities here in Indiana are hurting layoff workers with tax revenue drying up. As for a city or state assistance, Speaker Nancy Pelosi has called for a $1 trillion bailout. Republican leader Mitch McConnell, though, has expressed early skepticism, and so has the president. Big idea number 2 could mean more money for small businesses. Money ran out for loans the first time in just 13 days. There are calls from some in Congress to give more, but so far no specifics or direction from the White House. Finally, big idea number 3, another stimulus check. Some Democrats have suggested a $2,000 check should be issued. The president has said that won't happen unless he gets a payroll tax cut, which many on the left do not like. There is a desire to provide more help, but how to help is unclear. Ideas include help for state and local governments, more help for small businesses, and another round of direct cash payments. But all of these options face hurdles. The Rebound Indiana also focuses on connecting you to resources to help manage the pressure during the pandemic. As stay-at-home orders continue in Marion County and families deal with job loss due to the pandemic, a local organization providing housing to survivors of interpersonal abuse, including domestic violence, needs your help. Coburn Place is seeing an increase in crisis calls as emergency shelters put quarantine restrictions in place due to the virus. They have started putting people in temporary stays and hotels until they can find permanent housing. They are also having a difficult time getting furniture to furnish housing for survivors due to visitor restrictions at Coburn Place. So that is even more money they are spending during the pandemic they usually wouldn't.
It's an unthinkable decision to make during this time. Do I stay in a household that is dangerous, or do I flee my household knowing that me and my family members might get a deathly illness? It's a really difficult choice to make, and people are unfortunately having to make it right now.
Survivors who have lost their jobs are also reaching out, asking for help with rent and utilities, and Coburn Place is helping with that too. They're putting the call to action out to the community to please consider donating during these challenging times. We do have a link up right now on the RTV6 News app with how you can help. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. Kyle, what should folks expect as they make those plans for Mother's Day tomorrow?
Yeah, well, you're going to need the rain jacket most likely, Nicole, as we're going to have some periods of rain in the forecast, and I think a little too breezy to really be using the umbrella out there. We enjoyed a lot of sunshine today, but it just could not warm up after we started off today in the 20s. We made it into the 50s, and right now we sit at 45 in downtown. That wind is starting to turn a little more out of the south, though, so that, along with some cloud cover, I think will hold our temperatures fairly steady. Right now it's 45 in Greenfield. A little warmer for you, though, in Lafayette at 51. It's 43 in Bloomington. So tonight, a low around 42 as we increase those clouds, but it's going to stay dry through the overnight with that light south wind for us. Your Mother's Day forecast, not expected to stay dry. In fact, we'll have some scattered showers and even a few rumbles of thunder here as we go through the afternoon. And notice those temperatures, once again, are not going to be where they should be for this time of year. Average high is about 70. We'll only make it into the 50s. So here's a look at that timeline with TrueCast. Mid-morning, you can see a couple of isolated hit and miss showers out there. As we go into the early afternoon, that's where we start to see that line of storms developing around Peru through Kokomo and on the north side of Indianapolis. Again, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, a couple of those stronger storms with some gusty winds, possibly some hail. That will move into areas like Hartford City, Muncie, into Rushville and nearing Richmond as we get to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And still some scattered showers even as we go into our Sunday evening. That will usher in another shot of some cool air. But with the potential that we could have an isolated severe storm going throughout our Sunday, make sure you got that Storm Shield app so any warnings will be sent right to your phone for your location. As far as rainfall, not expecting a lot out of this system tomorrow, especially if you get under a couple of those storms. That's where we could see some locally higher amounts, but otherwise we're talking about less than 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. High temperatures, yeah, only 59 for you in Lafayette, 58 in Columbus, so we continue this cool trend. It's going to be a breezy day, too. Look at those wind gusts around 30 miles per hour. Could even be between about 30 and 40 miles per hour as we get into our Sunday evening, bringing in that cool shot. And as we look into early next week, highs that will barely get into the 50s on Monday. Then we gradually start to warm things up by the middle of the week. The 7-day planning forecast looking a lot better here as we get into the second half of it. High temperatures back consistently into the middle 70s. Now the trade-off, Nicole, is going to be that we've got some more scattered showers and thunderstorms in that forecast. So we get some warmer days, but it gets a little more unsettled. And again, tomorrow it's going to be cool, but we'll have a few of those showers and storms as we go through our Mother's Day afternoon.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Well, you can get a taste of some Chicago favorites, but with a much shorter drive, a hidden gem in downtown Zionsville. But the locals know where to go for the beef. We'll show you how diners will soon be able to get back inside this Main Street hangout.
RTV6 is working for you.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Chicago is known as one of America's great food cities, and you can find plenty of familiar Chicago favorites all over our area. But with a truck up to Boone County and knowing where to go, you can find a hangout that feels like it came right out of Wrigleyville. Brad Brown went to Zionsville for a look.
The bricks on Main Street in downtown Zionsville aren't quite so busy these days. But if you do venture to this historic block, you'll find many restaurants open for takeout and delivery. And if you know the right door to look for, you can find a pure taste of Chicago.
Out here in Zionsville, it's just a community where people are sitting at different tables, but they're just interacting, which is going to be a little bit different because everyone's used to jumping around tables talking to each other. So I think that's really going to be a hard part.
Rush on Main is tucked into this upstairs spot. Johnny was born and raised in the region, wanted a proper taste of home here. So his kitchen is piling up the thinly sliced beef sandwiches. Don't be afraid to get it wet.
Making it in-house and slicing it in-house. Real thin, great au jus that we make.
And they're loading up the Chicago dogs with ingredients shipped in directly from the Windy City, neon green relish included.
Most of our food comes in here daily, which is really hard, especially now because it's hard with our vendors to bring stuff in here right now.
The bar would often be buzzing with customers from Boone County and beyond. For now, it's been takeout only. Zionsville has even set up spots downtown just for that.
Oh, the community's been amazing. Yeah, everyone from, all of our, our patrons to, honestly, all the restaurant owners, even on Main Street. We're always bouncing things back off in each other and learning from each other, so it's been great.
Johnny and his crew have been making adjustments to their dining room space to coordinate with the new capacity rules being put in place upon reopening.
We had someone come up yesterday and try to order a beer and sit down. It's like, we want you here, but, we safety first. So when we're able to, we're going to be open and ready for everyone to come back.
They also have a location in Brownsburg. It is Rush off Main. They have the same Chicago-style menu there. Johnny says they'll be opening up the dining rooms at those locations coming up on Monday, but they will have the menu still available to go as well. Many other restaurants around the area outside of Marion County will be opening up next week. We're keeping you up to date on all of it online. Just visit the We're Open Indy section on your RTV6 app and also at theindychannel.com. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Brad, thank you. Restaurant owners are trying to figure out how they're going to make ends meet as they look to reopen. Losses for the restaurant industry nationwide are expected to hit $80 billion by the end of the month. Around 8 million restaurant workers have been furloughed or laid off. The National Restaurant Association says more than 40% of restaurants are now